Welcome to episode number 6 of the Frugal Film Project 21, the year-long collab where over 50 cheap photographers like myself shoot a roll of cheap film through a cheap camera and then post the results over on the Frugal Film Project's Facebook page. Today's roll saw me going back to Plain City for a couple of new locations I haven't shot before, and then traveling a little further southwest to London, Ohio as well. Just like the previous 5 months of this project, for June, I shot a roll of Fomapan 400 through my Holga, and just like May, I developed a roll with my FPP D96 developer, and then scanned the images with my Epson V550 using Epson Scan 2 software. Stick around after the images, and I'll share a little more information about the locations I shot, and I'll let you know about the big changes in store for the next chapter of the Frugal Film Project. Regular viewers here have seen Plain City before. I featured the town in a previous Frugal Film Project episode and an episode of Big Camera, Small Towns. Now, I mentioned in that Big Camera, Small Towns video that my favorite place to photograph in Plain City is Smith Cemetery Nature Preserve. Well, while I was researching that nature preserve, I come to find out that a little further west near the village of Irwin, there is Bigelow Cemetery State Nature Preserve as well. Now, I assumed this nature preserve was named after Isaac Bigelow, the founder of Plain City. Well, it turns out it's not. It's actually named for Russell and Lucy Bigelow, who owned this land in the early 1800s. The oldest tombstones here date to 1814, and Lucy herself was buried here in 1824. The cemetery was dedicated as a state nature preserve in 1978. Again, the mailing address for this nature preserve is technically in the village of Irwin, but on the way there, in Plain City proper, I passed Tobin's Service Center, an abandoned or at least out-of-service gas station. Now, I didn't want to turn in my film photographer card, so I felt obligated to photograph this gas station. Of course, the preferred film to photograph gas stations is Cinesto 800T, preferably at night, but I just had to make do with Fomapan 400 during the day. Now, for the changes coming up to the Frugal Film Project, June was the last month for Fomapan 400 and the Holga. The idea is to shoot one black and white film stock for 6 months in a row and one color film stock for 6 months in a row. So starting in July, I'll be shooting my cheap color film, Kodak Ultramax 400. I stuck with the Holga for all 6 months of the Fomapan 400, and I'm glad I did. I think it really helped me learn the camera. But really the only rule about the camera is it has to cost $50 or less, which of course most of mine do. So you can use a different camera every month if you want to. I'm planning on starting off the color stock in July with one of my favorite plastic cameras, the Vivitar Ultra Wide and Slim. We'll see how July goes. I may stick with the Vivitar for a few more months, or I may swap it out for another cheap camera. I mentioned in my most recent thrift store video that I might try out that 50-cent kids camera for this project, and I also picked up a Nikon N65 for a couple bucks that might be a good candidate too. If you like this video, you can give it a big thumbs up down below, and if you want to check out all future episodes of the Frugal Film Project, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. That'll do it for this video, so until next time, do some good, have some fun, and shoot some film!